Good morning, Maple Ridge CRC Church family. I wanted to just speak to you about what's been going on this past week. We're all feeling the uncertainty of the times that we live in. It's been quite the week. We've seen COVID-19 spread across the globe and become a global pandemic. And if you're anything like me, you've been sort of watching the stories unfold in South Korea and Italy and China, and it can be scary. We've been confronted with our own vulnerability and the frailty of our human bodies. This little virus has wreaked havoc and taken lives and overwhelmed healthcare systems, and we have good reasons to be afraid. And yet, in times like this, the Lord invites us to find in Him a refuge, a strong tower to run to where we are safe, our shelter in the midst of the storm. And His invitation to us is to not be afraid as we put our trust in Him. And so it's really out of love, not fear, that we've made the tough decisions that we've had to make as a church leadership. And for the time being, we're moving our Sunday morning worship online and not in person. And we don't know for how long this will last. It's temporary, but we do hope that it provides one way to stay connected, for us to continue to enjoy time together in prayer and worship in the Word. And that's going to start today, and it's something that's new for us, so it's going to take a while to kind of work out some of the kinks along the way. So we ask for your patience in that. And so we're invited to be church in a different kind of way. This impacts how we gather, but it doesn't change the fact that we're still a church family. We're still called to love one another, and in times like this, we're discovering that loving one another is sometimes means keeping our distance from one another and practicing social distancing and staying at home when we're not well. You can probably tell from my voice, I'm not well. Our family's been struck with a nasty flu. That's why I'm recording this at my house, and I won't be back in action, so to speak, until I'm symptom free. I'm going to stay at home until that day comes. And so if you're not well, we do encourage you to stay home until you're well. But if you're well, we just want to encourage you to find ways to connect with others in our church family. Even though we're not gathering on Sunday, we can still gather in our homes in small group settings, around coffee, at coffee shops. Reach out to someone with a phone call, a text. Find ways to show support, to encourage one another. And particularly for those in our church family who shouldn't be outside right now, who are very vulnerable. Maybe there's ways that you can reach out to them and offer to pick up some groceries, drop off some food, whatever it might look like to extend our love and support to one another in these uncertain times that we live in. And we also want to encourage you to look out for vulnerable members in your own community. Maybe it's neighbors, other people you know that live close by. Check in on them and see if there's ways that you can support them as well. And we also want to pray. We want to pray for our government leaders making the tough decisions they have to make about canceling all the things that have been canceled this week, and the flight restrictions. That's impacted a lot of us. And so as we move through these times of great disruption to our lives, let's rally together in prayer and pray for wisdom, pray for those on the front line providing the healthcare support, pray for those affected, those families who are grieving loss of loved ones. Let's rally together and pray that there would be a way to eradicate this virus soon. And the final thing I'll say is I just encourage you, I'll say from my own experience this week, it's not easy, but if you do find yourself having to isolate at home and withdraw more than you'd like to from other people, I just encourage you to, instead of resist that, embrace that. This is a time that's going to disrupt all of our lives in some way. And maybe in these times alone, it's times with family and friends in our homes, we may encounter God's blessings in some ways that surprise us. Know that you'll be in our prayers as church staff, and if there's any way we can be a support, please reach out to us. The doors are open at the church. The phone lines are open. We will continue our weekly programming for now, and know that you'll be in our prayers. God bless.